Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get all the updates. Really excited for today's video. It's Cellar Saturday, and I'm actually going to pour this beer because I don't know how much head I'm going to get. It's a wild ale. So I'm going to pour it, and then I'm going to talk about it. So a little out of order. That way, just in case there's like a crazy amount of head, I'll be okay. Proper glassware. Yes, yeah, I thought there was going to be a lot of head. Smells great already. Yeah. Wash this glass twice. Because I knew that like that wild ale is going to, and being a clear beer, it was going to show any imperfection, and it is. So, being a wild ale, I thought maybe I should open it off camera. There's been a couple of fruited beers that I end up not being able to even review because I opened them and it just, gosh, it was such a mess. By the time I cleaned it up, I was over it and didn't even want to try to do a review, and then had to scrap those videos. So I'm like, I'm going to learn my lesson, open it over a sink, and look how fast it's going down. Holy crap. And sure enough, nothing. Not a single issue. It had a cork in it. It popped off with the help of this guy. And real nicely, and then again, nothing happened. So whatever, it is what it is. Yeah, look how fast the head went down. That's crazy. So I picked this beer because on my Facebook, memories, came up today that this was 7 years ago today. So I'm releasing this on Saturday. I'm doing the review on Friday, the day before. So 7 years to the day was when I stood in line at Ithaca Brewing in Ithaca, New York, and waited for this release. I had Le Bleu before this, and that blew my mind. And I was like, wow, they're doing this wild ale. It doesn't have blueberries or anything like that beer. And there was actually a line. So it was the first time I ever waited in line for beer. And I'm like, I was going to do a completely different style and everything for this Cellar review. And I'm like, you know what? No, that makes sense. I'm going to do this one. It's 7 years old. And yeah, first time I ever stood in line for beer with my friend Tom. Shout out to Tom. And yeah, really excited for this. So Luminous is part of their Excelsior series. I'm going to read everything that's on this. So, if you didn't already, fast forward if you just want the review. Excelsior series. Excelsior, ever upward, still higher, more lofty, more elevated. Definitions of the word. The Excelsior story. The Excelsior series is our premium lineup of handcrafted specialty beers issued in extremely limited runs. They meld complementary flavors while defying existing style guidelines. We search the world for the finest ingredients and lovingly use them with both ancient and cutting-edge brewing techniques in the most artistic and exacting way. These beers are unfiltered, hand-packaged, and bottle-conditioned. Each one is alive, has a unique personality, and may be cellared indefinitely. Cheers. Again, for me, 7 years. This glass is not only an Ithaca glass, but specifically the Excelsior series glass. So, we're talking the upper echelon of proper glassware. It was a fun line. I had read, on Beer Advocate or whatever, about line share, or waiting in line and having shares. So I brought it was a 750. I want to say it was a coffee stout from Boulevard. Do they do a coffee stout? I feel like it definitely had coffee. Whatever beer I brought was definitely coffee. I feel like it was Boulevard. But anyway, so I did bring a beer on behalf of Tom and I, and we shared it around. And I remember someone had zombie dust, and I was like, wait, what? What beer do you have? And now it sits on the shelf at the local grocery store. 7 years ago in craft beer seems like an eternity ago. What is this beer specifically? Luminous Golden Wild Ale. A golden wild ale brewed with wheat and aged New York State hops. After a year-long mixed fermentation, we are left with a meditation of uninhibited life. A celebration of esoteric flavors. Enjoy the simple yet intriguing pineapple, cherry, mango, and hay aroma, complemented by a bucolic funk, all cushioned by a dazzling effervescence and a light tartness. A wild ale reminiscent of the pastoral landscape surrounding the Finger Lakes. Batch number 50. I love spending time in the Finger Lakes. Yeah, so it doesn't take much. Nice, look at that. Perfect. Doesn't take much for that head to go back up. There is a nice orange. It's yellow, but there's a nice orange to it. Definitely, you can see through it. It looks champagne-y in how effervescent and bubbly it is. It's kind of like, when I think of what a Pilsner and what champagne looks like, it's kind of a mix of those two things. I mean, we're upwards of like 3 fingers ahead. So in that way, it reminds me of something like Duvel. It's crazy. You can like hear, because of how fast all those bubbles are popping, you can like, even over the fan of my beer fridge over there, I can hear the bubbles that far away. So that's quite something. Little bit of lacing sticking around, but not much. No legs. It doesn't say the ABV. I looked it up. It said 6%. It's like one of the few times I actually look something up ahead of time. But yeah, let's get into the aroma. I mean, it's been a while since I've had one, but it's smelling how I remember it smelling. I'm going to say it's got that hay, earthy quality first for me. They put it last. Definitely cherry skins. I can see the pineapple. I get some lemon in there, especially the zest. Herbal tea, like chamomile. But that's pretty faint. That's pretty faint. I'm basically going in order of intensity. And then it moved up a little. So now at this point, I'm not going in order of intensity. It's got a nice peachy thing. And it's interesting because I've been saying peach a lot with Citra IPAs that have Citra in it. This peachy, that one is usually more peach ring, the candy. This is very much peach skin. So just like the cherry, it's not like the sweetness of the fruit. It's that tartness that can, kind of be closer to the skin and then the skin of some of those fruits. It smells really good. It smells super refreshing, and it does smell different than a lot of things I've been drinking lately, which has me super excited. Cheers. That has held up nicely. You do get that earthy in the way of like a lemongrass tea. You do get some of that very unripe peach. Again, like you bit into it, and before the sweetness kicks in, you're just getting the skin. It's very much that thing. Definitely the lemon zest for sure. You do, and it's interesting because of the lightness of it. I mentioned, Pilsner and champagne having a baby essentially in the look. You do get some green apple, not overly intense, but you do get some of that, little bit of pear. It's not quite hard cidery. It's more the real fruit, just relatively soft, in terms of how intense it is. Great prickly carbonation. A cool orange thing. Different, I've been saying this a lot, it seems like. Different than you can get orange in a West Coast IPA versus how you can get orange in a New England style IPA. This is like a third kind of orange where it's like, oh yeah, that's orange, and a little bit of that orange zest. But it's not like straight orange juice, and it's not like, oh, a hop is making me think this is orange. But there's this like real fruitness orange to it, but also with all the other stuff going on, especially how effervescent it is, and that carbonation, and what that does on your tongue and your palate as you're experiencing it. It comes across very refreshing that way. Not so much like you made like orange water where you slice some oranges and just head it in water for a little bit like you might do with cucumbers or lemons, but like approaching that. This is really good. I'm underselling it a little bit, I think, for my intensity. I've had a long couple of days. I've been talking all day. My throat hurts actually right now. So don't let my kind of lower demeanor diminish from like how delicious this beer is. That's about everything I can say about the taste. If I didn't mention the pineapple thing from the aroma carrying over a little bit into the taste, I forget if I said that. There is some of that. and it's like an interestingly tart pineapple juice. It's very good. Yeah. That note is, and this whole beer is actually pretty darn fantastic. What else to say? This aged beautifully. This aged beautifully. I was talking to my friend Jim today about drinking down beers we have that we've just been sitting on, and he's been making a point to drink down sours first. It seems like, and I know this is a wild, not a sour. I'm glad the moon and the stars and the planets, I should say, aligned, and I was like, hey, I should do this beer today because this is hitting the spot and kind of is part of what I was talking to Jim about, which is pretty cool. Although it's a wild ale, not a sour. I know the difference. So thanks again for watching, or did I even say it the first time? Thanks again for watching. Check me out on Instagram and on Untapped. It's No Hype Beer Reviews at both those places. So please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.